Rock and roll. Okay, first question. Do you guys believe in ghosts?
No.
Yes.
Yeah.
Who said yes?
Me?
And what evidence do you have?
I don't have any evidence, but
I do believe.
I don't know. I just feel like there's something
You're a
else to do
pig.
with us.
You're a pig. That's because we're lying
Stop
on me.
it.
Shut up.
Shut up.
You're on live.
Wait, shut up for me.
Stop. We're
Shut
doing
up.
this for his YouTube channel.
Type in your YouTube channel on Omegle and I'll add it.
You mean subscribe to it?
Yeah, subscribe to it.
You shut
Stop.
Actually,
I want
mate,
to
these
answer
actually
these.
sound interesting.
I know, that's why I want
I wanna answer
to
these.
see what he says next.
All right. So now, speaking to the gal first.
Yeah.
Why would you believe something if you didn't have evidence to support that belief?
It's just like God. We don't really have evidence of God, do we?
No, I would agree. So why would one believe in God?
I don't know. It's just like a wives' tale. Do you know, with the magpies, the birds?
So we can see you.
It's just something we're told and we just believe it.
Wait, are you actually going live at the moment?
Am I which? Sorry?
He wants to know you're going live on YouTube right now.
No, we're not live right now. This is just a recording.
Just recording.
Yeah,
I don't know. I just do. Suppose we're just told it and it goes into our heads and we don't know any better.
So if you had kids, would you teach your kids that if they asked you if ghosts were real, would you tell them yes?
I tell them about, like, you know, when someone passes away and there's a spirit. I tell them that stuff, but I wouldn't say, oh yeah, ghosts are real and they're going to come back and haunt you. I wouldn't go that deep.
So you believe that when someone dies, there is a spirit?
Yeah.
Yes.
And I mean, again, I would say we don't have any evidence to prove that. So why would you believe that?
Because we're just told them.
Because we're born to believe.
We're basically brainwashed into believing things. Like, we're brainwashed into thinking that we need a phone when we actually don't.
Right. So if you know that and you're saying, like, I've been, let's say, brainwashed or indoctrinated to believe X, why, now that you can recognize that, why would you continue to keep that belief?
Just because everyone is around us doing it, and if you don't get into the trend, you're considered to be weird.
What are you talking about?
Shut up.
Yeah, well, I would challenge that. I think for me, with my worldview, I want to believe as many true things and as few false things as possible. Is that something you would want to do, or
it would be something like, yeah, I do care. It's just like with God, like science, like it's all science. Like science tells you what's real and what's not real, but because religion is such a powerful thing, it's like if you say, oh, I don't believe, then there's always someone to come back and say, well, X, Y, and Z, here's proof about this, but then we don't actually know, because there's no scientific fact to say that God is real, but there's scientific fact to say that we have a brain in our head. But not that God is there.
Yeah, so I would say all the things like God and these beliefs of like these various myths that we believe in, like spirits and things like that, I think we create them in our own minds and they're part of our imagination. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. So I guess in a sense that I guess you could say that they are real in the sense that they are formed thoughts and ideas, but they're not real in the sense of like an apple on a tree is real.
Yeah. Completely.
Yeah,
100%. Yeah.
So I'm down with that. So now, do you guys, would you consider yourself a feminist?
No.
And why not?
Wait, let me show you.
Because, like, there's extreme feminists, there's feminists, and then there's people who believe in it but don't at the same time. I just think extreme feminists are just all about women and that men ruin the world, but I don't believe that.
Yeah, I would agree. I would agree with you on that for sure.
It's fair for a feminist group to come onto the internet and be like, well, the world should be run by women because we give birth to babies, but not if you didn't have a man, you wouldn't be able to have the chance to have a child. So basically, the world needs both of us, not just women, not just men.
and I think that might not even be the best way to argue about this if someone was debating this topic, because it's like we may one day be able to create artificial eggs or artificial semen in a petri dish. So in the end, basically, I think it comes down to equal access to well-being for everyone.
Yeah, and, equality. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not being the video.
Do you guys think that it's okay to circumcise a baby boy?
No.
Well,
he has no.
For medical reasons, because there is scientists that say that it is like better, because like you're obviously prone to infections and everything. But I don't think I would circumcise my son unless in the future he can to have problems, and then it was a medical reason. Then yeah, otherwise no, I won't.
Yeah. So so the few scientists who used to subscribe to the fact that they thought that having a circumcised penis would help with cleanliness actually has been debunked. So yeah. So it's like, because it's only like 30% of males on this planet that actually are cut. The rest are intact, and there doesn't seem to be a problem anywhere with it. So.
I think proper hygiene now. Everyone's been taught about proper hygiene, and I think that's why the rates are falling really low.
Yeah, I think if someone's going to make an argument that the hygiene needs to be improved with an infant or something, then the thing to do is to improve the hygiene, not to remove a piece of skin that's not going to come back.
Because like if it's there, it's supposed to be there. It's just like your brain. Your brain is there for a reason.
Exactly.
It's there for a reason, you know?
And it's true, we have some biological things in our bodies that aren't necessarily used anymore because they were part of our evolution.
Our tailbone and our what do we not need? We don't need our
appendix.
Well, your what are they called in your throat?
Your esophagus.
No, your tonsils. We don't actually get tonsils, but they're still there.
I have my tonsils.
Because maybe back thousands of millions of years ago, we actually did need them, maybe.
Yeah, but I think you really don't need your appendix, dog. To be honest.
Well, you can get it removed and still live. Just like you can live with one kidney, but we have two.
Well,
in case, like, if one fails, maybe that's why it's there.
Yeah, it's true that we do have some of these things that are to do with like symmetry of how we evolved with two of a thing because of how the body sits symmetrically, and then I think some of the other reasons have to do with diet and the amount of the different things that we were eating at one point in our evolutionary history. So yeah, I totally think we should stop mutilating boys and girls at birth, and if they choose to want to adapt their body when they become the right age to make that informed decision, then they can do that.
Yeah, I completely agree as well.
Let's try and find something we all disagree on.
Okay.
Do you guys believe in the death penalty?
I never heard of that.
The death penalty is, say, if someone commits murder, then they're either shot with a lethal injection, beheaded, like in some countries.
Oh.
So the death penalty. Say if you go and murder
like
your family,
Afghanistan or something.
like say if you murder your family, like you will be given the death penalty in some places.
I think
So do you believe in the death penalty?
No, I don't really.
If you take a life, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't think it's not really.
But if you take a life, why should you be able to take someone's life? What gives you the power to do that?
I think all rapists should, actually get
the
death penalty.
Yeah, but I think the death penalty should be given to people who commit murder, because why should you take a life and get to keep yours?
So here's something to consider about this, in that so someone commits a murder, or let's say they do the worst. They rape 10 children and they murder the 10 children as well, and they're put on trial. What benefit do we get out of society by putting that person to death, and what are the potential benefits we get out of society if we actually use that person to study their mind and study and more in-depthly study how they develop even after they're incarcerated. I just think the cost benefit analysis on keeping people alive is better. And because my worldview basically focuses on maximizing well-being, that includes people who have done the worst kind of committed the worst kind of crimes, because I think if we still focus on maximizing their well-being, that includes incarcerating them and making sure they can't harm anyone. Because I think in the end, if we move towards a society that isn't putting people to death, to me, this is this is the kind of world I want to live in, where we're not kind of deciding who lives or dies, even if someone does break the law and do that themselves. I don't really want to cast a vote to put someone to death. I would rather use what they are scientifically to further understand why they came to do that thing.
Yeah, when you put it that way, my opinion changes completely. Like, when it comes to scientifically, like, studying the person, how their brain works, personality, like, is it a mental disorder or is it just how their brain functions, then I completely disagree with the death penalty. I think it should be studied.
Yeah, what do you guys think?
What do you think about the death penalty? Do you think it's right or do you think it's wrong?
I think it's right.
You think it's right, so you believe that if someone commits a murder, they should be put to death instead of...
I would hang them.
But, no, don't say stuff like that. You're not thinking straight.
Yeah, but if they've killed someone, I would.
I know, but just saying, do you think that if someone commits a murder, do you think that they should be put to the death penalty?
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah? What do you think?
No.
No?
I think they should. I think they should get a second chance to prove them wrong.
Yeah, but if there is clear, hardcore evidence, a CCTV camera of, say, someone outside Whitewater mutilating a man, murdering them, and there's hardcore evidence right there and 100 witnesses to see it, do you think that he should get the death penalty or his brain be studied by scientists to see why does trigger a person to do this?
Brain, through science.
So do you think the death penalty should be put through to someone who commits a murder?
No, kind of. But
50-50.
No,
50-50?
more like 50-50, yeah.
They all say 50-50.
I say it depends on how many people how many people the person murders. If it's say if it's only one.
But why should a person who commits one murder and a person who commits 3 murders, why should the person who commits one who's still actually done the act, why should they get let go and the person who committed 3 murders get the death penalty? They still done the same thing.
See, it's just like me. I've done bad in my life. It's like saying someone that causes an accident.
Yeah.
Should he be arrested and put in prison for 30 odd years?
Well, there should be a punishment.
Yeah.
Definitely
I think that
definitely a punishment.
The death penalty now,
to
me, would be a bit too harsh.
Yeah, when you put in the way where they should be incarcerated and studied to see what makes a person commit these things, then I don't think the death penalty is necessary for it.
They should be given a punishment, but not a death penalty.
So incarcerated for the rest of their life.
Yeah. I think they should
more or less should be studied
in psychiatric evaluations.
Yeah.
Chop the hands off and then they'll never do
No,
it again.
Don't talk about that stuff. You don't understand this stuff, so you don't. He doesn't keep up with this kind of thing. He has no interest.
So while we're on the penalty for crime issue, one topic that always comes up, because this is a contentious topic that not many people talk about, pedophilia. So if a pedophile has molested a child and they're put on trial and there's more than enough evidence to convict them, how should we think about those people who have this propensity towards sexual attraction towards children? How should we view those people from society? Should we view them as people who have who are sick with a mental illness, or should we view them as people that need to be eradicated or killed or removed from society and never thought of again?
I think they shouldn't be removed from society. They just go to like get studies on why do they like that. They shouldn't be put into like given the death penalty or like being removed from like society. They should be put into like a psychiatric ward
or a mental asylum.
Or no, not even a mental asylum, just like a place, like a clinic basically. But they shouldn't be removed from society, because I watched a documentary on a man who was a pedophile back in the 1970s. He molested around 40 young boys and 2 10-year-old girls, but he was reintroduced into society after 10 years of psychiatric evaluations, therapy and everything, and he never once committed anything again. He was normal after he reached out and got help. He was able to be reintroduced into society.
Right, so he was rehabilitated.
Yeah, he was. And he never once done anything again. He was closely monitored and he never once done anything.
So now let's hear from the men in the room. If a man molested your sister or your little sister or one of the infants, your little niece, what is your impulse? Obviously there's going to be an initial impulse to want to probably harm the person that did the molestation, but what should actually be done with the people, either men or women, that carry out this kind of molestation to children?
What do you think should happen to them? Should they be punished, or should they be put into a psychiatric ward and
depends what way you're punishing them,
given treatment, or should they
give them what they deserve? Not like
what do you mean?
Bad.
What do they deserve? Stop!
No.
You don't have any input in this because you don't know what it's about.
So like, say if he did like what he just said, I think they should give him like what he should have.
But what
he shouldn't have never done to make sure he gets out of his head and won't never happen again.
So you think that they should go get treatment instead of being
they should get more treatment and help them better with it.
So you don't believe in torturing them? Just
no, I don't like.
Do you believe that it's a mental illness, or do you believe that it's
it could be a mental
illness? It
could be a mental
illness.
Yeah.
So you believe that they should go get help and they shouldn't be tortured and stuff done back to them. You believe that they should be left and be brought off to a psychiatric ward and be helped.
Yeah, I think
so. You don't believe in harming a person who molests your daughter or your child or your niece or your sister. You think that they should
I won't harm
help?
them. I just show them how. I would tell them.
Yeah, but you think different when you have a child.
Well, yeah, true.
Yeah.
You want to go kick the living bollocks out.
Yeah, it's true.
I can't get out of my head.
It's different when.
So, do you believe that they should be harmed, or do you think that they should be arrested
I think they
and
should
brought
be
into psychiatric ward?
They have to learn what they have done and get through it and give them like
getting them
not like another chance, but like make sure they will never do it again.
So you believe psychiatric help?
No, I believe that.
What do you believe, Tyler?
I believe that it depends on how serious it is. Like, if he's done it more than once or more than 5 times, then I think that the punishment should be a bit more severe. But it depends on, like, say if...
Do you believe that the person who molests around 15 child in the space of 10 years, do you believe that they should be put into prison and be, like, totally isolated and put in a dark, cold room where they're only allowed out for 1 hour in the day? Or do you believe that they should be in general population in a prison and get psychiatric help and therapy? Or do you believe they should be completely isolated out of society?
They should go and get help, whether it's with people or without people. Because like I've had family members that have got locked up in the most toughest prisons in Ireland, the UK, the US, and the one that they said was the worst. There was one place in the US that they said was
just the treatment.
This is the actual prison itself, but he was saying that it was bad, but there was some parts of it that were bad. It depends on what they do.
Yeah, what they do.
So say like if I went off and murdered about 60...
No, but this is pedophilia.
Yeah. Say if I went off and started
molesting young
20
children.
kids next week.
Yeah.
I think I should get punished. I should be locked up
But
for 10, 15
get
years.
help as well.
Yeah,
More
yeah.
than
Not
that,
be-
if that
not
was
be-
30 years, but
Yeah.
at minimum.
But get help as well.
Yeah.
Not to be isolated.
I think they
and
should get
treated.
help at minimum.
Yeah.
Not just be locked up in the cold corner. That's my opinion now.
Okay, so now that was the easy question. Now the harder question about this is that, say you guys are all in a group there together. It looks like it's nighttime wherever you guys are.
Yeah.
So you guys in your group, if one of you just stood up and said, "Guys, I have pedophile thoughts. Like I think of children in a sexual way, and I, you know, and I don't, and I just needed to tell someone because I don't know what to do about it." How much does that affect your new vision of who that person is or what their personality is? Or are you able to just view that much like you would view something like someone standing up and saying, "Guys, I'm really suffering from depression"? Would you view those differently, and how different would that be for you?
I don't view it differently as if someone was to stand up and be like, "I'm gay, I'm depressed, and I think about little kids." I don't view it any differently, because say if someone stands up and says that you're gay, you're not going to think about them differently. You're just going to be like, okay, they like guys and girls, or they like guys, or they like girls and they're a girl. But if someone stood up and said, okay, I have fantasies about little children, I'm not going to say, okay, you're a sick person, I am never talking to you again. I'm still going to talk to that person and obviously get them help. I'm not going to view them any differently. Say if my friend stood up and said, I am so suicidal, when I go home, all I think about is killing myself. And then someone else stands up, I'm a pedophile, like I have really bad thoughts about kids. I go home, I lay in my bed, and I just think about little children. I don't really view it differently, because it's you know, it's a mental health issue.
Right. What do the guys think?
What do you think? Would you view someone differently if they stood up in this room right now and said, I think about like little kids? Would you view that differently to me standing up and says I have depression, and then Tyler standing up saying, well, I'm a pedophile, I think about little kids? Do you think about that differently? Would you think about them differently? Would you say, oh, you're disgusting?
Them differently, but like they would probably need to cop on for like what they're thinking and change their mind.
Like get them help.
Get them help.
So would you not blank out someone who said that to you and be like, you are sick, get away from me, I am never talking to you again? Or would you be like, that's okay, you're still my friend?
I would be still a friend, but they actually need like proper like help.
Get them help.
Yeah, proper
professional help
to make them like stop.
So say if they were your very, very best friend for the past 20 years and they stood up, would you be like, oh my god, what am I friends with? Or would you be like,
no, it won't be
okay?
like that. No, it'll be
would
like,
you be like,
that's okay,
but you need help.
You need really important help. Like,
what do you think, Tyler? Would you view that person differently, or would you...
No, I wouldn't necessarily view that person differently. It's just like me. It's just like you standing up and saying you're a lesbian.
Yeah.
I wouldn't view you differently. Like,
yeah. Like,
stop.
If you're lesbian, if you're gay, if you're transgender,
like, sure, I'm bisexual and I don't care what other people think.
Like, I don't view you any differently. Like, the guys don't view you any differently either.
Wow.
So it sounds like we're you guys are kind of equating this to someone who's homosexual, but homosexuality is viewed quite a bit different in society than pedophilia is. So, there's a bit of a maybe a false equivocation there, because if a pedophile acts on their pedophile thoughts, then they are going to be arrested, right? In most places around the world. But if a gay person acts, on theirs, in most places around the world are totally fine with it, and which I think they should be. And so basically, I think you're right to say we definitely have to be proactive and to help them get help for sure.
Yeah.
But I think you guys surprised me. I think it's really important that we do not make. I think the further we push pedophiles into the closet, the more dangerous they are to children.
Oh yeah,
and we do not want pedophiles hiding behind a closet in fear, because I think that allows. It makes it damn near impossible for them to kind of come out in the open and say what everyone needs to know, because it's when we don't know when they're able, when things get out of control and they start harming children, right?
Yeah, it builds up and anything can trigger them. It's like with homosexuality now, everybody is just so open to it. They walk down the street and they meet a person for the first time, they're like, oh, I'm gay, and then a pedophile will walk down the street, and if they said, I'm a pedophile, people would attack them and want to harm that person. Maybe if it came if people became more open about saying, okay, I am a pedophile and I think about little children. If people were more open about it, I think it'd just be more easier to control it.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Because if people are in their houses and all, they can't say it to their friends, when they go out, they're going to be thinking in my mind, and then it's going to build up, and then they could act and do something horrible.
Right.